could walk for days here, like literally days, and still not see everything.
Yeah.
Do you like it here?
Yeah.
It's beautiful, eh?
Forrest Gump fans, scenes from the movie were filmed in this park. We're in Chippewa Park right now in Savannah. It's one of the 22 squares that they have here. Right behind me actually is the spire, one of the opening scenes with the feather floating. It was actually filmed there, as well as the benches, the bench scenes with Forrest Gump telling his story. This was also filmed in this park.
This is the kind of city I love. This park is called Forsyth Park. It's the biggest of all the squares. And it's got that monster fountain in it, almost like the one we saw in Charleston, I think it was, right?
So here in Forsyth Park, they have all kinds of things for the locals to do, or in visitors, tourists. There's restaurants. There's all kinds of festivals that they hold here, jazz festivals, parades. It's really kind of a hub for a lot of the locals. There's also an amphitheater for them to do jazz festivals and things like that. So it's really like a huge hub for a lot of local activities.
It's actually really nice now because everything's starting to bloom. So it actually looks quite beautiful. Savannah's candy shop. So they have like all this candy, plus they make all kinds of candy. They make chocolates, they make fudge, they make candy apples, they have ice cream, they have popcorn, and like every flavor you can pick up. So I would come here, if you're in the area, it's something else to see and smell and taste. While we're here, I have to mention, you can actually buy drinks at any of these bars and walk everywhere with them. No, that's a good thing. There's so much to do and see that you can buy booze and take it with you until you get to stop at the next bar and the next bar and so on.
What do you want? Who sent you?
Gus sent us.
Yeah. All right. Come on in. Hurry up. Get in there before somebody sees you.
Okay, so behind me is the statue of the waving girl. She's famous around the world. The story behind that goes that Florence Martis was her name. She used to come down here to the docks, and actually every time a ship came in, she would wave a big white flag to let her long-lost lover know that she was here. Out of respect, the ships used to blow their horns when they saw her.
So we're just walking down towards the wharf and the pier and that district. We're going to a restaurant called the Pirate's House. It's supposed to be really good food, so we'll see.
So we just had lunch at the Pirate's House. It was actually one of Georgia's oldest establishments. It was set up in 1753 as an inn and a bar for wayfarers or seafarers and pirates to come and drink and be scoundrels. The lunch is actually really good. It's a definite must stop if you're coming here, just to at least check out the history of the house and tour the gift shop and have some good food. So this is Wormsloe Historic State Park. It was from 1736. It's a colonial state that was built by a gentleman that lived locally, and now it's like a museum. It has artifacts from the site. It has recreations of what life was like in the 1700s. So yeah, it's got this 150-foot long driveway that is covered by mossy oaks. Oh, sorry, 1.5 miles, sorry. Corrected. Ready to do this.
Doing the self-guided tour right now. We just watched the movie explaining everything in the visitor center, and now we're just going to walk the trail. I think this is called the Bartram Trail. This is the original house that was on this estate, and I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but they actually used shelves in the walls. It's pretty interesting to see.
So far it's really pretty. It's like a nice walk in. It's nothing crazy.
It's a nice cool day today too.
Yeah, it is cool out. Like, it's not cold at all, but
perfect temperature.
Day. Yeah, it's a great day for it.
There's so much history in Georgia, you don't realize how much there is until you come to places like this and find out what Georgia was all about. And it's a fascinating place. It's beautiful. Everybody should come here because it's quite the state. Fort Jackson is a restored 19th century fort located 1 mile east of Savannah on the Savannah River and hosts the Fort Jackson Maritime Museum. The original brick fort, now the oldest standing brick fortification in Georgia, was built in 1808 and manned during the War of 1812. When the Union Army, commanded by General Sherman, captured Savannah in 1864, it took Fort Jackson almost immediately. After the war, however, it had little use to the military and remained, for the most part, empty and abandoned. It was finally purchased by the city of Savannah in 1924 and turned into a park. It was then fully restored in the 1970s and finally declared a National Historic Landmark in 2000. Visitors to the fort today can tour the grounds and see a variety of military hardware and memorabilia, which is currently on display. Fort Pulaski, built between 1829 and 1847, was placed near the mouth of the Savannah River to block upriver access to the city of Savannah. Brick and masonry fortifications such as Pulaski were considered invincible at the time, but the new technology of rifled artillery would soon change that. On February 19, 1862, General Sherman ordered the bombardment and capture of the fort. New rifled artillery which was more accurate and powerful than the existing firepower, was placed on Tybee Island, southeast of the fort, and it began the bombardment on April 10th. Within hours, the Union Army had breached the southeast corner of the fort, damaging the shielding of the magazine storage areas. The fort's commander at the time realized that if the magazine storage area exploded, the fort would be seriously damaged and his garrison of men would suffer severe casualties. So the Confederate Army surrendered on April 11th, just a day after the bombardment started. The bombardment and siege was a landmark experiment in the history of military science and invention, and it also marked the end of the brick and mortar fortifications for the U.S. Army. 5,275 rifled cannon shots were fired from Tybee Island, with some of those shots still visible in the wall today. By the turn of the 20th century, the fort began to fall into disrepair. So in an effort to save the old fort, the War Department finally declared Fort Pulaski as a national monument in 1924, and then transferred from the War Department to the National Park Service in 1933. There are over 5,000 acres of pristine saltwater marsh and miles of trails which offer an abundance of outdoor activities including hiking, biking, and birdwatching. This is a must-stop for all the history enthusiasts out there. It's well worth it. So that about wraps it up for this video. 10+1 things to do in Savannah. And let me tell you, if you get a chance to go to Savannah, go, because it is beautiful. It's one of our most favorite cities that we've been to so far. It's beautiful. So you won't be disappointed. We did 11 things, but you can do 100 different things there. Trust me, if not more. But right now we are in Brunswick, Georgia, and we've been here for the last 2 weeks. What are we doing in Brunswick, Georgia, you ask? Well, interesting story. And we shall share that with you next week. So stay tuned. Until then, if we don't see you, we shall see you on the road. Take care. Bye, guys.